Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've already recorded this video once and it didn't record any sound. So we're going to try this again. I got a new webcam, so I'm filming with the webcam. It is the Logitech C922 Pro HD streaming. It came from Best Buy. If I look like I'm looking up, I'm looking at my monitor, but the camera's right here. So this is my first time doing this with the webcam, so everything's going to look a little weird, sound a little weird. If you are only here for my cross stitch, I finished this. So this ornament here, it's kind of a big ornament really, but I finished this. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I glued this felt to the back, not realizing that even though I used clear glue, it still made marks. So on this side, I made a mark there, and there was a huge mark here, and so I put the teddy bear on there. He looks like a little gingerbread man almost. So I put the felt on the back, and then you can kind of see I used one piece of, it wants to focus on my face. I used one piece of floss to whip stitch it together. And I had talked about maybe doing beads for the dots, but I just went ahead and did cross stitches because I knew I was going to put white felt on the back, and so you can't see it. And then I poked a hole here and put the cording, like the baker's twine cording through. And so there we go. And then the other thing I worked on this week was this little guy. Is it gonna focus? It's very small. So this is, I call it almost like a Dr. Seuss tree. It's a little Christmas tree with some snowflakes. There was supposed to be another snowflake on this side, right here. But these big snowflakes were kind of a pain, so I thought it looked fine with just one. This is 28 count, and this is my first time doing 2/2 on 28 count. I've just done 1/1 before, and I like it. I think it's super cute. It stitched up pretty fast. These are not the right colors. I just used the colors that were already laying on my desk. It does fit in a 3-inch hoop. That's the marks that are on there. So I'm probably going to finish it in a 3-inch hoop and then just put some Christmas fabric on the back and good to go. So since we already talked about the cording, I bought these to use for inserting cording or attaching cording and ribbon. So about 2 different styles. These are yarn needles. So I bought these. These have kind of a smaller head, and these were the Michaels brand, and they were like 99 cents. Then I also bought these. These are Clover, and these are called darning needles. They have the little curve on the bottom, and they have a much bigger head here. But they look like they're metal, but they're not. They're plastic. And they came with this little tube that they're in. That is my dog barking because we apparently have neighbors again. I looked on like Airbnb, and that house is not listed, but there's just random people that stay there for like a week at a time. Okay, so if you only want to talk about cross stitch, that's pretty much it. Because I want to do the market, I want to have some sort of cross stitch going at all times. So my next one is going to be on the canvas, the plastic canvas. And I think I had 5 of these. Yes, I have 5 of these like long strip that I'm going to make basically still into ornaments, but they're going to be more like bookmarks, maybe. Like maybe when Christmas is over, you use it for a bookmark. So I don't have pictures of these. I'm gonna have to go start. All right, I'm back. So, we were talking about plastic canvas. We were talking about making bookmarks or long, skinny ornaments. So, I don't have pictures of these. Most of them are from Doreen Jones. Here's her little guy. Oh, isn't he cute? Her little kitty cat. I am a member of her Facebook group. Every Friday she gives out a free chart. So I'm going to show them real quick. So this first one is 3 little kitties sitting on top of each other. Boop. And then this one is a flower in a vase. Boop, boop. And then this one is a snowman. And then, what is this one? Oh, this one is presents. And then this one is not a Doreen Jones. I don't know where this one came from. But it's like a string of lights, and it is so fuzzy. I almost wish I hadn't printed it. It says table runner on it, but I think even in like 11 count, it wouldn't be a table runner. But I'm not going to use the colors it shows anyway, so I'm just going to have to kind of wing it and hope it turns out looking like bulbs. But whoop. Okay. So that is going to be my next projects. They're going to be on the plastic canvas. So probably what I'm going to do is just, like the cat one has a solid base, like they're sitting on like a little rug. So I'm probably just going to go down here and just go in like 1 and 1, and then just start stitching across, and then just stitch up, and then when I'm done stitching, cut it out. And then for the next one, I'll just go over here, and I'll just, or maybe at the top, and just start stitching, and then, you know, eventually I'll end up with like just a random piece in the middle. But that is all the cross stitch. So if you are not interested in anything other than cross stitch, thank you for coming by. I hope to see you again. Please subscribe, please like, do all the things. If you want to hear me talk about all the other ornaments and things I've been doing, now we'll talk about that. So I want to do a market in the fall. And so for that market, I'm making not only cross stitch ornaments, and I'm probably going to sew some and maybe make some paper ones. I have like a little house cut out that I want to make little houses. I'm also doing wood burning because I really like wood burning. So I have some that I had previous, and I'm just sealing them or painting them, whatever. So here's my problem at this point. So if you see this one, you can see it is super shiny, and you can see those lines. See those lines? Those are brush marks. So this one is sealed with Mod Podge Outdoor Gloss. It's very thick. It's very goopy. So I bought some Mod Podge satin. It is a little bit shiny, but it really doesn't look like I did anything to it. So, but it's very thin. So I took 2 like spoonfuls of each, and I mixed them together, and I got this. So you can see there's still a little bit of shine, and there's still a little bit of brush marks, but it's not nearly as shiny, and there's not nearly as many brush marks. Now when I touch this, it still feels like wood. When I touch this, it feels very slick. So I think I'm probably going to stick with the mixture because this is just so goopy. Now, the other thing I've been doing is, you can see how super shiny this one is there is something called Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. And the bottle I've been using says like copyright to 2010, I think. So I think that's when it first came out. It says it doesn't go bad. It doesn't smell or anything, and it's not like weird yellow or anything. But it is not self-leveling. So in order to get like this nice finish like this, I have to smooth it out with the tip and just really get it nice and smooth. I have a couple over there that I did that you can see it's like a slope. because you put it around the outside. It's almost like you see those people on TikTok when they're frosting the cookies. They put the frosting around the outside and then they fill in the middle. But the cookie frosting is pretty self-leveling. This is not self-leveling. So it gives you like a resin look, but you don't have to mix it and it doesn't stink nearly as bad. It still stinks, but it doesn't stink nearly as bad. But I don't know if I can get it close enough to where you can see it. But you can see, like, right here, there's bubbles. So it says don't shake it, don't, move it around, don't roll it around. Well, you still get bubbles. And then also you see this little black dot here. That's a piece of char from the wood burning that got stuck in there and I couldn't get it out. But I do still like the way this looks, as opposed to this, because you can see like the lines. And there's lots of lines in there. And I'm using like a real, like what they call a base coating brush. It's a really wide, flat brush that's really soft. And so there shouldn't, this one, I lie. This one was actually done with a foam brush. So this one was done with a foam brush. But you can see even the foam brush left all those lines. So these two are my favorite for sealing. And I went to Joann's and Michael's and I looked at their resin to look at UV resin, because I don't think you have to mix UV resin and then you just you freeze it with the UV, but neither one of them had it. Michael's didn't even have like the little light or anything. Joann at least had the light, but they didn't have the actual resin. So I'm probably gonna have to look on Amazon. But there is basically I did like a little series. I found silhouettes of Disney princesses, and I know the mouse will knock your teeth out over copyright, and I get it. But number one, the silhouettes that I found, they weren't copyright. Whoever had them even said they weren't copyrighted. So I'm not going to be selling on a mass scale. I'm only going to be selling in person at this one event. So hopefully the mouse doesn't show up and knock my teeth out. But so here's some stuff I've done with Disney. So here is, sorry y'all, this video is going to look kind of crazy because I'm getting used to where the camera is and everything is opposite. So like when I go this way, like this is my left, but it's showing on the right up there. So here is Tinkerbell. I did her on this star because I thought the star fit her, but also I wanted to see how this would burn. Yes, I understand the star is upside down, but that was the only way she would fit because of the way she is shaped. And this one has the dimensional magic on it. So she is very sparkly. And then here is, good Lord, Ariel. And she is, this back part, the colored part is acrylic marker. And she is done with the mix of the two Mod Podges. And she's on this little tag because I wanted to see, I've burned some of these tags before, but I've bought them from two different places, and then they just all got thrown in the same bag, so I don't know which is which anymore, so I just wanted to see how they would burn. And then the other princesses have been burned and colored on the front. The backs have not been painted, and they have not been sealed. So we got Belle. And these colors don't really show up right either. And I think it's because of my lamp, but it is what it is. So there's Belle. I assume this was Merida. I was going by the hair more than anything. She seems to be the only one that has a lot of hair. So I did this kind of blue-green color. Pocahontas. I already had done two in teal, So I didn't want to do another, even though I know her dress is kind of like a turquoisey color. So I just did her in brown. And then here's Jasmine. And Jasmine and Aurora that I'm about to show you were done with Sharpie, the Sharpie art markers or craft markers. I don't know whatever they call them. But they're, so you can see, it's like real streaky. Like all this is like real streaky, whereas this one is pretty smooth except for the grain of the wood. And then, so here's Aurora. Yes, I know Aurora's dress is blue, but she's always shown in pink, so I just did her in pink. But you can see how awful this looks. Like, look how bad this is. I'm hoping that once the Mod Podge or whatever is on there, it will kind of smooth it out some. She's also not very in the center. They're not. So, sorry, my computer screen just went to the screensaver. And then this is Tiana. I am assuming it is Tiana because of the crown right there. And so this one's actually kind of a greeny yellow, like a real light greeny yellow, but it looks very yellow on there. I've done some others too, but I just wanted to show those, and I wanted to talk about the different sealing methods I'm using. So what else have we been doing? I bought another fountain pen. Now I already have, I had a black one and I have a blue one. The black one broke, like this plastic under here broke. But this is a Platinum Preppy. They are not considered disposable. They are refillable, but they're like $5. And I got the pink one because I had bought this ink, this Sailor ink, and I bought the blue and the black, and there's 12 cartridges. Well, this one now has 11, but there's 12 cartridges, and they're supposed to be waterproof. So if you're going, you know, if you're drawing or you're writing and then you're going over it with highlighter or marker or whatever, it's not supposed to smear. So I ordered them, and Sailor says, oh, their cartridges only fit their pens. So I ordered them, and then I looked, and they look just like, they look the same size as my Platinum Preppy cartridges. So I was like, oh sweet, I'll just order another Platinum Preppy, because that's when I realized that my black one was broken, and that's why it wouldn't work. So I ordered, when I was looking on Amazon, I saw this pink one. I was like, oh, I'll just get the pink body, and then I'll put these cartridges in it. So it got here, I put one of these cartridges in it, and it does work. The pen works, the cartridge fits in it just fine. But it doesn't fit all the way to the very top, so it leaks. So I washed it out. I took that cartridge, I used some of it, and then I took that cartridge out and I washed it out, and as you can see, there's still some dark right along here. It's not gonna wanna, but right along the bottom here, you can still see the blue. I have a feeling that blue is just going to be there, because I washed and washed and washed to the point that when I did put the pink cartridge in it, because it came with one pink cartridge, the bodies come with one cartridge of whatever color they are, and then the person I bought it from included 4 more pink cartridges in the listing. So I had 5 pink cartridges basically. I put the pink in there and I scribbled around with it for a little bit, and there was a teeny bit of like a real washed out blue for just a second as the rest of the water got out, but now it just writes perfectly in pink, and so that blue is just, it's just in there, and it is what it is. But now I do have to buy a Sailor pen so I can use all my Sailor ink. Sailor pens are not super expensive, but I like these pens. So, I'll have to buy a Sailor pen. Oh no, we have to buy another fountain pen. I have been using it in my journal, so I haven't done any more like junk journaling, but I have been doing my everyday journaling, just one page in a little notebook. I haven't remembered every single day, but I've remembered most days. Usually when I don't remember, it's like, because I do it at the end of the day. So it's like after work and I'm just like bleh from work. Because if you watched my last video, you know I don't like my job. It's my first ever work from home job. And it is a phone sales job, and I thought I might be okay with that. Like, I'm not a huge phone person, I'm not really a salesy person, but I thought I could do it, and you know, I am doing it. If you look at my stats, my metrics, I'm at 85% of what I'm supposed to be selling, or what they assume I can sell in my hours worked plus with my experience. I've only been there 4 weeks. I just finished week 4 on Saturday. So we did 4 weeks of training, like classroom training, and now it's 4 weeks that I've been on the phones by myself. So every week we talk about a new thing, and this week's thing I'm just not, or last week's thing I'm just not getting. Like, I get why they want us to do it, and I get the purpose of it, but like, it's not clicking in my head to do it. Does that make sense? Because that's not how I function. That's not how I talk to people. That's not how I sell things. But if you've ever worked for a corporation, you know it's a corporation, and they have a set of ways they want everything done. I am having trouble doing it their way. Like I said, I'm making my sales. I'm on the phone when I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm not avoiding calls. I'm not doing any of that. I'm making sales, but I'm still not doing it the way they want it done. So I talked to my coach and I told her, you know, I'm struggling and I'm just thinking that maybe this job is not for me. And she said, you know, she really struggled at first, and also she struggles with the working from home part, which I think is part of it too, because like, I'm sitting at this desk right here, which is my craft desk and my computer desk, and right next to me, like 2 feet away, is my work desk, because we only have a 3-bedroom house. So I have a room, my husband has a room, and then we have a bedroom. So my work is right there. It's like I'm sitting there working, and this stuff is just here around me. There's no separation. So I'm having trouble with that. And while I'm not a people-y person, I did enjoy talking to people that I worked with, you know, like seeing them. And even when I go across the street to Walmart, you know, people are still like, hey, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, good to see you. And so I think maybe I might be like having problems with that too. So I think I'm struggling with the work from home part, and I'm struggling with the do it our way part. But I kind of came to a point where my coach told me to talk to my supervisor, and I may do that, but they're real big on saying, oh, there's nothing here you can get fired for. You know, well, there's a few things, like we're doing legally binding stuff, and like we're getting people's personal information. So if you start stealing people's personal information, you're gonna get fired. If you go look at your own stuff, you know, or your family members' accounts and stuff, you're gonna get fired. They've apparently had people who have looked up like stuff for celebrities, because you know, some celebrities do actually use their real names. And so, like, people that have looked up stuff for celebrities and then kind of put it out in the world. That just sounds so stupid to me, but I guess people do it. So, there are things you can get fired for. Being mediocre at your job is not one of them. Will you ever get promoted? No. Will you get bonuses? Probably not. Will you get great evaluations and pay raises? Probably not. Will you get fired? No. You're just gonna be mediocre. Like, your teammates are probably not gonna appreciate you. Your supervisor's probably not gonna appreciate you because you're bringing the team down. But they're not gonna fire you. So I hope that it clicks. Like, I hope that I just pick up that phone call one day and I'm like, hey, customer, thanks for calling this ski shop. Can I help you? And it just clicks. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. I bought a 3-month subscription to FlexJobs so I can try and find another work from home job, which seems silly because I think part of my problem is the work from home part. But as my husband pointed out, I went so long without buying a car that my car is in such bad shape now that I can't get a job where I have to go very far from home until I get another car. So I've either got to find another work from home job or I've got to stay at the one I have until I can get another car. Our plan was to use our tax return as my down payment. We're not getting a tax return. We owe. So that killed that idea. So I just have to keep going. And also, my coach kept saying, you're not getting this part, you're struggling with this part, but it's not going to go away. As we keep adding parts, it's just going to build and build and build. And if you're struggling down here, you're not going to be able to get the other parts. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And then my husband was like, you're only on week 4. You've only worked at this place for 4 weeks. They can't possibly expect someone who has never done this kind of selling before to get it in 4 weeks. I mean, you just started talking about this thing that they want you to add. And so, yeah, that's true. It's, week 1, we were just getting used to being on the phone. Week 2, we talked about, I don't even know what we talked about, but there was something. And then 3, we did this next thing, and then we did this thing. And so this last thing is the thing that I'm having a problem with. But we've only been doing this specific thing for like a week and a half. And I've only been doing the whole job for 4 weeks, for 1 month. January 12th was my first day on the phones by myself, and today's only February 10th, so I need to cut myself some slack of I can't do this job, I don't like this job. That being said, I did get that FlexJobs subscription for 3 months. I paid the $30, and I have applied for some other jobs, non-phone jobs, or at least I hope so. Any of them that said there was phone tasks, I just skipped right over those. All of the ones that I applied to didn't explicitly say phone. So if I do get some interviews, the first thing I'm going to ask, is this a phone-based job? And if it is, we can both hang up right now. No point wasting our time, because I'm not going to leave one phone-based job that I don't like to go to another phone-based job I don't like. You know what I mean? So, if you made it through that rant and ramble, the only other thing I have to show you is I got some more magazines. Now, I go through this, and I've been going through this for probably the last 4 or 5 years. I get on this tangent where I want to do a homestead. We want to grow our own vegetables. We want to get some chickens, the whole thing. And I've talked about it on here before. So the last time I got in that, I ordered a bunch of magazines. So I subscribed to Hobby Farm and then Texas Gardener. Now, Texas Gardener, is, based on in Texas. I'm in Texas. And so we signed a 2-year lease, another 2-year lease. We've been here almost a year. The end of May or the end of March will be our year and a half, because it was an 18-month lease. So now we signed a 2-year lease, and so we're here until March of 2027. So I do want to start my garden back up. We're supposed to get another freeze, I think, here pretty soon. All the stuff I planted in the fall, I got big plants. I got big, beautiful plants, which you could have seen on my TikTok. But I never got any fruits or vegetables. I got a few peppers, before the tornado, but the tornado did something weird to my pepper plant, and it just never recovered. I don't know what kind of stress plants go under during a huge storm, but like it didn't get broken or anything, but it just never really did anything. It never really grew a whole lot more leaves. The leaves they were just stayed small. There was never any flowers. There were never any peppers. None of my squash made squash. They all had flowers, but none of them made any squash. My strawberries are actually still going after the frost. When I realized that they survived that first and second hard freeze, I moved them onto the porch up into like a corner, so they're protected from the wind. Now I just keep forgetting to go out there and water them because they're not getting rained on. But everything else froze, and I was fine with that because, you know, they're squash, number one, and number two, I never got anything off of them, so I wasn't gonna beat myself up trying to take care of them. I did bring my other plants in, like my house plant transplants that I brought with me from Florida, but I literally waited like a day too late. So they all have some frost damage on them, but or freeze damage, not really frost, just freeze damage. But I think they'll recover because there is still green on them. They just have some black leaves. And then I have a big purple plant, a creeping purple thing out front. It froze last year and came back with a bang. Like this thing, I kept having to move it because it was like going over the sidewalk and we were stepping on it and stuff. And so I just let it freeze. But as it had gone out of its pot, part of it had started growing on the ground behind it, and that part's still fine. Like this thing does not want to die. But I have a feeling what's in the pot will probably come back gangbusters again when the spring rolls around, so I'm not real worried about it. The only reason I have is because I literally dug it up from the side of the house where someone else had just thrown it out. And my husband had mowed over it a couple of times, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I, put it in a pot, and now it's like, just takes over everything. But yeah. I think I'm rambling now, and this video is probably going to be pretty long, because this is already at almost 28 minutes, and I did the first part before the dog started barking. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much, very, very much. All the people who have subscribed recently, thank you. I'm up to 61 subscribers. That's a long way from 1,000, but you know what? It's way more than I had last year. It's more than I had even at the beginning of this year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.